Okay, now we are live. So Allie, just what we've been doing real quick to get us started is just, oh, are you in here twice now? Oh. Okay, there you are. Let's see. So let's see. All right, perfect. So now we can see you. So what we were doing just to start off was just a very short kind of description of your what your role is. And I know you're Janelle's daughter, so that there's a family in there. But kind of just describe kind of what your role is and what your interaction is with the social media accounts.
I'm Janelle's daughter. I mainly post on the Instagram and Facebook just to help promote the store, and what's going on with the store with sales and stuff.
Okay, perfect. So you and Debbie are both kind of tag teaming Redeemed Threads related things. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Well, that gives me just a good kind of understanding of what you all are doing. I do know that there is one other social media account for Compassion Connect Arizona kind of overall. Are any of you doing anything with that?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I'm not.
Okay, perfect. So which accounts have Instagram? Because there's the Compassion Connect Arizona overall Facebook page, then there's the Care Center page, there's the Redeemed Threads page. Which of those accounts, as far as you know, have an Instagram account as well?
I believe both the center and the store have one. I only have control over the store.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, the center has one. I don't know the Redeemed Threads.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into our presentation here. It's going to be fairly basic, high level, because I am also not a social media expert. I definitely have learned a lot on the job over the past several years. But I do know a few kind of best practices, and that's going to be sort of the overarching theme for today. Is just some high level thoughts and ideas that have been collected over the years that should be able to guide and help a little bit. But I also want to leave time for Q&A. So if there is anything that's not covered in the presentation, then we can just spend some time in discussion together. I'm going to start off with social media, and then we'll get a little bit more into Canva. Which reminds me, Allie, how much do you do with Canva? Are you familiar with Canva? Do you use it?
I'm not, and I don't really.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That just gives me an idea of where we're all at. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And you can also feel free to interrupt me along the way with questions. And I will send a copy of this to you all as well. Can you see the PowerPoint, everyone? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right, so first of all, why is social media just important to our communication strategy? It serves several different reasons why it's important. It can help increase our just brand awareness for our audience, more people knowing about Redeemed Threads, the Care Center, what you all are doing down there. It can also help drive traffic to your website, and that is typically where we would hope would take the next step by signing up to volunteer or donating or just going deeper into the cause. It can just help create a loyal fan base, so people who love what you're doing and will advocate for you and share your posts and like them and things like that, just to help kind of grow the mission. It can grow donation revenue, or in the case of the store, just revenue. And then, whoops, I can't see the bottom of my screen, so I can't see what that last one says, but you all can see it.
Generate more leads.
There we go. Okay, so more people interested in the cause and in what we're doing. Okay, so I'm going to go over some kind of broad categories in the presentation. And these are kind of what those are. So images, the actual content that you're posting, logistics, and then kind of just some other best practices. So first we're going to start with images. So general rule is that posts that have pictures in them usually do better than those that don't have pictures, because it draws us in, it captivates us when there is a great picture. And we try to avoid using pictures that are a little bit more on the blurry side, if they're stretched or anything like that. We want to just try to keep to ones that are really crisp, clear, professional looking, as that just kind of all contributes to how people are seeing us. And sometimes just even a blurry photo can make people think, like it can subconsciously like make people like question our credibility, and we just don't want that. So posting with good pictures. As far as using pictures, so I'll get into this a bit later with Canva. There are a lot of our own like original photos uploaded to Canva already. The one downside for Arizona using the Canva account is that there's 3 epicenters that currently use our Canva account. So all of our pictures are kind of mushed in there. So you'd have to do a bit of digging to find Arizona specific ones. But I'm not sure if maybe you all have places where you have pictures stored like on a Google Drive somewhere, and that you can access your own original photos or albums somewhere. And then Canva also has tons of stock photos that are all, because we have a pro account, they're all available to us to use for free. So before we had Canva, it was kind of, we had to be a bit more careful about, if I'm downloading a picture from Google that I want to use, making sure it wasn't copyrighted or anything like that. But we don't have that problem as much anymore because we have so much on Canva. Okay, then content. So when we're posting, we're doing our social media posts. It is kind of important to incorporate sort of the why behind what we're doing. There are some posts that'll be a little bit more dry, just kind of basic information, but it is really helpful for people to understand the purpose behind it, especially because what you all are doing is so meaningful and purposeful. There's this bigger picture behind it. So we really do want people to kind of come away feeling like inspired or motivated, because they know like, this is why, like we're serving these families at the care center, and Redeem Threads contributes to that. We want people to be able to kind of feel something when they see our posts. And again, not every single post is going to be like a tearjerker or make someone cry like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, but just kind of keeping that in mind, that we do want someone to have some sort of reaction to what they're reading. Content can also add value to our audience. So by that, I mean that it's not necessarily all about like what we want from our audience, people, reading our posts. It's what we want for them as well. So what are we offering to them? I know y'all don't have a blog currently, but in Portland, the blog is one way that we do try to offer value to people through articles that we've created that might be like a how-to, like how to live out unity more in your life. And that can be done even if you don't have a blog. There is sort of this idea of curated content, which just means it's content that you've gotten from someone else on the internet, that it's not your own original that you've written, it's from somewhere else. And there's lots of great articles out there from other like Christian sources that would bring value to our audience, and that does tie into our mission and vision and values. So different media platforms. So it sounds like you have Instagram and Facebook. Do you all use anything else like Twitter or any other platforms that I don't know about? Okay, cool. We'll keep it simple. That's good. So there are minor differences between Facebook and Instagram. Each platform has just a slightly different purpose and audience, and that's just something to be aware of. Instagram obviously is very focused on images. So the pictures that we use for Instagram are like even more important for that platform. Facebook, yes, images are very important, but the the content, the text of what you're posting is also, of course, very essential. But the other thing to keep in mind as well is there might be a slightly different demographic makeup of your Facebook audience versus your Instagram audience. And I would bet that similar to ours, the Instagram demographics tend to trend a little bit younger, maybe a little bit more millennial or Gen Z or on Instagram. But we'll get into analytics a little bit later and just barely scratch the surface of that. But your analytics for both Facebook and Instagram have analytics, and they can tell you exactly what age ranges you're seeing, male and female, all those things. And so again, it doesn't usually adjust my strategy so much, but it is just kind of a good thing to have in mind that like, okay, my audience maybe is a little bit younger on Instagram. I'm going to, maybe make very small tweaks to how I'm like presenting on Instagram versus Facebook. Okay, so here's just sort of a note on something that doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it does. So there's only been a few cases in my 7-year, time at Compassionate Connect where we had a naysayer like comment on one of our posts and kind of try to radicalize it and make it something that it wasn't and make rude comments. But it's happened maybe twice. So and a lot of times it's in response to like there was a current event or like a humanitarian crisis that we wanted to like talk about in the context of our values. So we actually did put out a few like blog posts last year about racial justice. And we had some folks who were not happy about it. And sometimes that can lead to aggressive comments, especially if the content could be perceived as political. So our first responsibility is to make sure that we don't, post things that are going to divide people, as that would defeat our mission because we're all about unity. But there is a fine line to walk between something that can be divisive versus something that's tasteful and emphasizes our mission and our values and is Jesus centered. If there is somebody who posts an aggressive comment, in most cases, our policy is just not to engage with them. But if somehow the situation escalates or includes hateful speech towards us or other people commenting, then we may need to just delete the comment. I have actually just deleted comments before. So this is just on a case by case basis and just use good judgment. Hopefully, redeemed threads would never that'd be probably strange if someone was like saying something mean about redeemed threads, but just as kind of a heads up in case this ever does come up, but it comes up rarely. So okay, so some content kind of best practices or examples of content that are pretty good for Facebook, blogs or our own like original content that we have come up with, curated content, like I said, from other websites, videos. We have been experimenting a bit more up in Portland with just like really simple like iPhone videos. And those have been doing pretty well. Like when we have like a campaign coming up or a fun announcement, or even, for the store, like, oh, you have a sale coming up, that could potentially be a fun way to engage people. Like do just a very simple iPhone video of yourself saying, hey, we have a sale, like come on down and see us. It's kind of a fun way to just show that we're human, show that we're like down to earth and friendly and, can kind of engage people that way. Other good content for Facebook is engaging graphics and photos that highlight the ministry, event announcements, or kind of just general updates, program specific announcements or updates, just keeping people in the loop, that type of thing. Sharing stories and testimonials with, of course, of folks who have given permission and whatnot, and they're fine with their stories being told. A lot of times I like to do using Canva, just like a graphic that has a quote on it from someone who's been impacted by the mission. Those are just really fun to share. And then this may be farther down the road for you all, but we have put together like some PDF ebooks and guides that we have on our website that we've also shared on social media. And that's another way that we kind of try to add value to our audience. Like, what are we offering you as well? Instagram. So like I said, Instagram is super, image heavy. It's that's kind of how it came into being. It was all about the pictures. So sharing great photos from events or the ministry in general, photos of redeemed threads, new merchandise that you have. Like I said, short stories and testimonials or quotes. Like I said, quote graphics from a variety of audiences, whether that's from guests, volunteers, donors, customers, or quotes from authors or speakers that relate to our mission and values. So always tying it into kind of who we are. I also, both for Facebook and Instagram, I have once a week, I like to post a scripture verse that directly kind of ties into our mission and values. So anything that's related to unity or love or service, those are great to share, that kind of emphasize from a spiritual level kind of why we're doing what we're doing. Behind the scenes posts are really fun to do sometimes, just showing again like, oh, this is us at the office, or this is us setting up for an event, or things like that can be really fun. One of the things that our big goals for social media is just getting people engaged and interacting and commenting and sharing. So sometimes just asking an open-ended question can be a good way to get people talking and engaging. Like it could be even just something as simple as like, what's your definition? What does unity mean to you? Or what's your favorite way to serve in the community? Or just something that kind of relates to what we're doing and gets people engaged. And then fun facts about the organization are also kind of a good way to fill your content schedule. So guidelines for curated content or shared content from other websites. It should be from a reputable source, kind of a basic one. It should somehow tie into our mission, vision, or values, somehow relevant to the work that we do. And then content that's shared from other places shouldn't usually exceed more than half of the total content that we're posting. So we really want most of what we're doing to be original content to kind of just help balance things out. And then I listed just a few examples of places where I found like good, like Christian content before, but there's many others out there. Okay, so I have just a little content best practices checklist, and this is kind of relevant to like any kind of communications. It's not specific to social media. And I don't necessarily go through this checklist every single time I'm, doing a social media post, but it's kind of just good to familiarize yourself with and just kind of have it in the back of your mind. So in whatever we're doing, and whether it's social media post or any other type of communication, our content should honor our values and align with our brand script, which is, I'm not sure if y'all have seen the Arizona brand script before. I think Janelle has access to that, but it just essentially says like, this is who we are, this is what we do, which I think y'all are pretty familiar with. Our mission and vision. And this checklist is just pretty handy. So I'll just go through each bullet point here. So one is, have we effectively integrated our purpose and kind of our key message there? Does it look like us? So that's one thing I'll talk about with Canva is we do have brand colors and fonts and things like that. And so we want to make sure that the images that we're creating kind of are all very consistent and in line with that. And I know the Care Center has, I think, a different color scheme than Redeemed Threads does, just slightly, but all of those colors are actually already on Canva. They're already uploaded into like our brand colors section, and I can show you that. Does it sound like us? So our voice, our personality, our values. Then this one maybe is a bit less relevant for social media, but who is the audience that's supposed to be getting this? And I guess that would be more like, is this a Redeemed Threads post versus a Care Center post? And you all, I think, would be pretty, you'd know pretty easily who needs to receive the information. Is it clear what we want for the person as a result of this, not just what we want from them? One thing that we have really been working on over the past several years, or kind of trying to keep at the forefront, is this idea that Compassion Connect, we are not the hero in the story. Our audience, our supporters, our people who are part of this mission they're the heroes, and we want to highlight them versus kind of making it about ourselves. Like a lot of times organizations can sort of get caught up in and maybe not even realize they're doing it, but it can start sounding like, oh, we're so great, so you should love us and you should be part of this because we're awesome. And that is kind of actually a turnoff for people because it does kind of make it about you. So we want to just have this in the back of our mind that like, we're not the hero, we are the one that's guiding our awesome people along their journey of unity and compassion. And we want to kind of kind of promote that narrative that we're here to help you on your journey. Is there a clear invitation for the person to do something? So that kind of goes back to this idea of what's the call to action? Are we hoping that they're going to come visit the store because we have a sale going on or something? Are we hoping that they are going to come volunteer at the care center? Is it a call for donations? Kind of what is the hope what is the action that we would hope that they would take based on this post? And it's not always going to be there's not always going to be like a clear call to action. A call to action isn't needed in every single instance. Like when I'm posting a Bible verse, I'm not asking anyone to do anything other than read it and hopefully reflect on it. But there are definitely posts where we do want them to do something, so we would want that to be clear. Is this the appropriate medium and timing for communicating this? So that one's just pretty basic. Is this the right time for sharing this information? This one's sort of a broader like communications question, but can it be connected to other efforts? So like if there is something awesome going on at the care center or Redeem Threads, like can we put that in our e-newsletter? And that would be more, I think Kyla's doing more of like e-newsletter and other communications things. But that is something that is good to note, that if there is something like amazing going on that should be publicized outside of social media, then just having like good communication streams with Kyla and Janelle so that they would know like, oh yeah, we need to share this in more than just social media. Is there an effective plan for follow-up? So what happens when someone responds? With social media, I don't think you're going to be seeing that as much, but what that would look like maybe for social is just like, if somebody does comment on a post, am I ready to respond? Am I kind of checking my posts, a few hours afterward or the day afterward, just to make sure that I'm responding to anybody that has made a comment? Or I'm not sure, do you all have messages enabled for your social accounts? Like, do people send you messages? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So just being, ready to respond to messages and whatnot, which I'm sure you all are. And then gut check, would you want to receive this? So this is kind of a good one to incorporate, like anytime you're doing a post, like, would I like to see this? Would I be inspired by this? Would I want to do something if I read this? That's a pretty good one to kind of keep in the back of your mind as well. And then finally, this one's really important. Is it simple and clear and easily understandable? Because in this day and age, when there's so much like competing for our attention, if people even have to like pause for a second to try to like understand something, if it's not clear, often we'll just lose them because there's just so much competing for attention these days. And so the more that we can just make our communications like super, super clear and easily understandable, and trying to avoid like insider language, if there is any like jargon or things that people maybe wouldn't necessarily know what it means. We just want to try to avoid that so that people can just like digest the information in a few seconds and be like, oh, okay, I get it. So here's some other examples of content that have worked well in Portland. This isn't an exhaustive list by any means, but it's just kind of to get your ideas flowing. So event invitations. So if you're having an event, a fundraising event, or any kind of event really, both from us or from other organizations, if they're relevant to our mission and values, I have posted like information about, local conferences or things that relate to what we're doing. Program updates, if there is anything, awesome happening that we really want to share with our supporters. An example of that would be recently up in Portland, we changed the name of our youth mentoring work. It was Adorn Grace Design Studios. We recently changed it to Compassion Youth Mentoring. That was kind of a big shift that we wanted to let people know about, so we gave that update. Impact stories of our donors, customers, volunteers, all that kind of thing, and making sure we have their permission to share. So gratitude touches or celebration of those who make the work possible. So like highlighting our awesome volunteers or donors, saying thank you so much, maybe doing a small write-up on like this particular volunteer, how long they've been volunteering, why they're so awesome. Like I said, relevant curated articles on topics or even news or events that relate to our mission. Blogs that we've written. I have occasionally also shared the e-newsletter on social media. That can be a good way to get that out to a broader audience, and then hopefully even have more people sign up for the newsletter. Occasional requests for donations or giving campaigns. So, donations could be financially, but it could also be, hey, do you have stuff sitting around your house that you want to donate to our thrift store? Like, you can do that, and here's how. Volunteer opportunities. So if you have anything, it could just be like your general run-of-the-mill volunteer opportunities, or if you have, a special one that you're trying to promote. Videos that we've created or videos from other places that relate to our mission. A good way to try and engage people can sometimes be through like taking a survey or a poll. I haven't done it in a while, but I think Facebook actually does have like a poll option that you can create, just a very simple one. Quizzes even. Sometimes it's sensitive to post in response to tragedies or current events that we want to be, praying for certain things, or showing that we're thinking about, something, if there is something relevant that we want to, show compassion for. Posting on holidays is a fun way to engage our audience, and then quotes that exemplify our values or our mission. So again, this list isn't complete. There are probably a lot of, more specific, like store or retail related things that could be shared. So this is sort of just a base sort of list that could get your ideas flowing. So logistics. This kind of covers like how often to post, how long your post should be, day or time of day, scheduling options that you have, and then a little bit about analytics. So as far as frequency, how often to post, the I guess the conventional wisdom is that the more our audience hears from us, the more they're going to get to know us and create more of a relationship with us. I do think there's a thing as too much though, because then you're kind of just, your posts end up like competing with each other. And we want to make sure that when we're putting a post out, that it has a good chance of people seeing it and interacting with it. I would say that the maximum you'd probably want to post a day would be 1 or maybe 2 times. If you did 2 times, it would be like a morning or afternoon and then evening post. So kind of separating them by a lot of, several hours. But for me, like my just like healthy minimum that I, at least try to keep to for like the Portland accounts is 3 times a week. And on, during good seasons when we have a lot to talk about, a lot to share, then it ends up being more like once a day. But 3 times a week is really like what I am aiming for at a minimum. So as far as post length, how long the post is, again, with like everything we have competing for our attention, readers are a bit less likely to continue reading if the post is too long and they have to click on that read more. It can be hard to keep them short, but when possible, just trying to keep them to that length where they don't have to click on the read more. But when you do have to write a longer post, and that's fine, I do try to just separate the text into like easy to read chunks of paragraphs rather than it being just like one long paragraph. And that does help break it up a little bit. What times and days are best to post? So the not so helpful answer is that it depends. It probably is different even for the Care Center page versus the Redeem Threads page because your audiences are slightly different. So that's where the analytics page will kind of come in handy. You'll be able to see, it does actually tell you when your audience is most active. So then once you know that information, you can kind of just say, oh, okay, looks like my audience is most active on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. So I'm going to just schedule a lot of my posts for that time and see what happens. But this is sort of a broad, like what I have listed here is, just some research that has been done by different social media agencies, and this is what they found. But it isn't really a replacement for just looking at your own specific information on that analytics page. So during the week, Monday through Thursday mornings, like, right, you know, a lot of people, when they wake up in the morning, first thing they do is hop on their phone. So in the morning, this says 8 to 10, but could be earlier. I know, you know, for the early birds. Afternoons, and I would say I need to update this PowerPoint a little bit because I have seen some research that, you know, a lot of people are more active on social like during their lunch break. So like noon to 2-ish, you might get more people checking it. And then I have also noticed for Portland specifically, we have a lot of people like right around like 7 to 8:30 who are very active. So that was one that we found was specific to our audience, kind of like after dinner before they go to bed time. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoons around 12:30 to 2:30 also do pretty well. When I post on Sundays, I do like to do like a verse on Sundays, since that's church day. And I either try to time it, and it would be impossible to time it correctly for every single person and when their church service starts, but I try to time it either for before they're going to church, so like earlier in the morning, like 7 or 8 a.m., or like early afternoon when I'm assuming people are getting done with church. So like 12:31, that type of thing, and when they might be checking their social accounts. Okay, so for scheduling, they've made it really nice now. On both Facebook and Instagram, you can now schedule a post on both platforms. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So on Facebook, there is a handy function that allows you to schedule posts ahead of time. So if you're saying, I'd actually like to schedule like all 3 of my social posts for this week in one day and schedule them to go out at different days and times, you can do that. So there's a left-hand side dashboard. You just go to publishing tools and then you click create post. And then from there, you can set your posts up to be published on a certain day and time. And then from there, you can actually now decide whether you want to publish the post just to Facebook or Facebook and Instagram, which has been really nice. Before, you had to go onto each platform separately and do the post, like double the work. And now they allow you to do it in one place. And Instagram also allows you to publish directly to Facebook. So either one, if you're on Facebook and you want to also publish to Instagram, you can do that. If you're on Instagram, you also want to publish to Facebook, you can do that, which is a big time saver. And I have really appreciated that function. Okay, just a teeny tiny bit on analytics. So because there's a lot there, and really I just want to keep it simple, because it can get a little bit overwhelming when you go on there, but there are like just like a couple of things that you would want to know from going on the analytics pages. But it really does offer some awesome information about our audience and the success of our posts and things like that. So analytics can tell us a lot of different things. It can tell us things like the number of people who see our page and engage with the page. So seeing it and engaging are two separate things. You know, maybe they just scrolled past it, they just saw it, versus they scrolled, they saw, they clicked like. That would be engaging with the post or the page. It tells us audience demographics. It's been kind of helpful to see. For Portland, we skew a little bit more towards women, like 60-40 women. And we also, we have a pretty good distribution from like 20 to 50-year-olds. That's kind of where a lot of our demographics are situated, between 20 and 50, which is pretty broad range. And then audience most active times of day. That is also a super helpful one, like I mentioned. So how do you get in there and see this stuff? On Facebook analytics, you just go to your left-hand sidebar that has a bunch of different options. That's where you also find like the publishing tools button where you schedule your posts. There's a little option that says insights, and that'll take you to kind of the insights or analytics overview page. Then there's like tons of other options there on that left dashboard too. Once you get there, that can it'll allow you to go deeper on any of the data, but the overview page is kind of the best place to start, and that's where it takes you automatically. And then Instagram analytics, when viewing like the main page of your Instagram profile, there should be on the top right corner of your screen, there's a little graphic that has like 4 vertical lines on it. If you click on that, that should take you to your analytics page. And then I think as well for each individual post, you can also look at analytics. There should be an option there, but the instructions here are kind of just from like your main profile page. For analytics, I don't check them super often. It's nice to try and check them at least once every quarter, or more frequently if you want to track how well even just like individual posts are doing. And with Facebook, I think when you scroll through your posts, it does kind of already like auto-populate with some of your statistics and whatnot. So you don't even need to go into the analytics page. It just kind of pops up and says like, you know, it'll show you, of course, like how many shares and likes and things that your posts have. And they also do have, sometimes pops up with some information about like, oh, this post is performing better than 80% of your other posts this week. And so there's some of that you can just see even from scrolling on your main page without going into analytics. I have also recently created a sample like social media metrics tracker in Excel that is open for anyone to use, just as kind of a little plug for that is available. Okay, other things, just basic stuff like proofreading, that, you know, little things can sneak in sometimes. It's good to just read it like twice just to make sure, or getting someone else to kind of give it an overview for you. And then doing a quick run through of the communications checklist before posting can be helpful. That's kind of what I had for my social media. I would be very interested to see if there are any questions on that, any areas that need clarifications, or any areas that you feel like, gosh, I really just had questions about this, but that wasn't addressed in the presentation. So love to just open it up to you all now and hear some of your thoughts before we hop into our Canva discussion.
I just had one question. The posts that share ahead of time, you said go to the left, and I lost you.
Okay, yes. So let me actually just share my screen again. I'm a very visual person, so I am going to do this visually. I'm just going to pull up. So let me just see if I can pull up the Redeem Threads account. I think I have administrative permissions, so I should be able to show you the back end of it. Let me pull it up here. Okay, yes, I do. So let me share my screen again. Okay, so I've got my Redeem Threads Facebook page here pulled up. And then we have a left-hand sidebar over here. And this is where your publishing tools is. It also has insights. So this is where your analytics is. So when I click on publishing tools, it's going to take me to another page. Okay. And this is where it's going to show all of your posts that you have done already, published. It'll also show you your scheduled. So none scheduled, but the way that you would do that is you go up here in the top right and there's this create post button and you click on it and wait for it to load. Okay. And then we see here that it gives us this option to post on the Redeem Threads Facebook and the Redeem Threads Instagram page.
Okay.
So I can, I can do one or the other. It allows me to toggle back and forth, whichever one or both. And then you would add your post here or your content, and then you can click add photo or add video. And then once you kind of do start putting that stuff in, there'll be a little preview that pops up over here. And then to actually schedule it, well, it will only let you publish on Instagram if you have an image with it. So I'm gonna unclick that for now. So the way I would schedule this is I go over here to the publish button, but I click on this drop down arrow and then I click schedule post, and then I can choose whatever I want as far as that goes. And then click save, and then to make sure it works, I would be able to go down here to the scheduled and it would pop up here and it would tell me the date and whatnot. And if I accidentally scheduled it for the wrong time or date, I can always come back here and click edit and it'll allow me to change that from here.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? That was good. I'm glad we went through that kind of visually so you can look back on it later.
Can you show us that for the Instagram? I mean, I can't find the vertical lines that you're talking about.
Okay, I may not be able to
do from here.
From my desktop. And I so I have a super outdated phone, and I actually had to delete Instagram off of my phone the other day because it was saying I had no space, and I was at the airport and I needed the space to get my boarding pass. So I wasn't able to actually go into Instagram and verify that those instructions were correct. I looked on a website. So what I'm going to do is, because I can't really show you on the desktop because they don't give you all of the same. The desktop version is different than the mobile version. So what I'm going to do is re-download it on my phone, and then I'll go in and maybe I'll even do like a little video tutorial, just a super quick one to send to you all, and so that you'll know how to find it. Dang it, I was hoping those instructions were correct. Any other questions? Okay. So we can move on to Canva. Let me just pull up my notes here. So we have some familiarity and then not as much familiarity. So, oh gosh, where did my, oh, here we go. And I am just kind of curious, is Canva something you all like, for those who aren't familiar and haven't been doing it, is it something that you want to be doing more of? Is it something that Janelle was kind of encouraging you all to do more of? Just curious about that.
Yeah, like for instance, dot changes today for the store. Mm-hmm. And, we have a dot system like Goodwill does. Mm-hmm. And so she usually posts it because she said she wanted me to learn Canva. I have to come up with a picture like the change today is green dots are $1, brown dots are half off. Mm-hmm. And she comes up with this really neat picture showing something like it was a squash, and half of it was one color and half of it was another color. And I said, where do you get these pictures? And she says, Canva, but I want you to go through the the training first before I let you take that over.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, so I'm really excited to learn it so I can do that.
That's great. I love it. And the good news is that Canva is pretty user friendly compared to like some of the other graphic design systems, like Photoshop or some of those crazy Adobe ones. So it should be a fairly easy kind of learning curve. But let me go ahead and log in and just show you around a little bit. Okay, share my screen. Okay. So this is what my homepage of Canva looks like. And I believe that Arizona might have a unique login to Canva. I have like a main login that I use, but I'm able to create like sub users. And Alicia, do you have your own login? Do you know which login do you use to get in?
I think I use yours.
Oh, okay. That's fine too.
I think. I think I use yours.
Okay. Well, yeah, that works too. Or, you know, I can, if y'all are going to be using it regularly, I can create like unique user names and whatnot for all of you. So that might be something that I will look into doing that. Okay, so this is what my home screen looks like. Like I said, all three of our epicenters use Canva. And so in your like recent designs, you're gonna see it mixed in with everybody's stuff. But the helpful thing that kind of helps organize it so it's not like super overwhelming, like having to look through a million different things, is the folders. So this homepage here, the way it's organized is it has it shows you a variety of their different like types of designs that you can do. So kind of you could scroll through here and see like, oh, I want to create a poster or a postcard or whatever. And they have so many different types of things you can create. And then it has their recent designs. And then their left-hand side dashboard. So that's where a lot of the important stuff is located. And like I mentioned, there are folders that make this a lot more organized, and it will be a lot easier to find the Arizona specific content so you don't have to look through like everybody's stuff. So I'm going to click on all my folders, and there is an Arizona folder here. So if I click on that, and then it's organized into subfolders here. I don't think every single thing is in a subfolder. Yeah, I just went through our entire database of designs, because I noticed that not everything was in a folder. So they're not just Arizona, like everything. And so I just made sure that every single Arizona design was in this Arizona folder. So you'll see there are some subfolders here, but then there's a lot of other just other designs that don't have a subfolder. Eventually somebody might want to organize these into different folders, but for now they're kind of just floating in here, and you can kind of tell what they are based on the thumbnail image here and then the title. But this is where I would go if I was you, to kind of say, okay, this is what we have. One of the things I really like to do to make life easier is if there's something I want to create, and I think we have something similar that we've done before that I could just like slightly modify, then I just go ahead and copy it and do something similar, so I can kind of save myself some work. So let me click on something and just show you. So AZ summer reading. Okay, And I'll just show you like some of the controls and whatnot once you're actually here in the editor. So if I did want to copy this for whatever reason, I would just go up to File. And I would say make a copy, and it'll just make a copy for you. If I'm working on a new design, which I'll show you how to create a new design from scratch, but I wanted to make sure it ended up in the Arizona folder, because they won't go to the Arizona folder automatically. You'll have to make sure you put them there if you're creating a new design. So I would say move to folder, and then Arizona is like the first one on the list, and you can click on it, and then you can choose just any. Oh, I thought that those subfolders would pop up there. I guess you just have to move it to the general folder, and then you can put it into a subfolder. So anyway, that's how you would do that. So some of the controls. So up here, we have several different things. We have a duplicate page. There's a trash can if we want to delete it. Then there's this add page function. You can add it and it'll just pop up basically blank. If I wanted to take away this blue screen here and just make it like truly blank, I just click on it and then I click my delete button, and that takes that away. So now I have a blank one, and this is what it would look like if you had created like a blank template to begin with. If I wanted to change just like a color background, I've clicked on it, and then I click on this background color, and then it pops up with many different colors. But it also has our brand colors here. And again, these are brand colors from the entire organization. You'll just kind of have to be familiar, with what your brand colors are. This is the Care Center blue, and these are the Redeem Threads colors from your logo. So this kind of teal color, and then this like dark maroon, that's Redeem Threads. And then this is the blue from the Care Center. All of these other ones are either from like the Compassion Connect like main brand colors. So this red here is Compassion Connect just overall. Same with this orange color, and then the black and gray are kind of just neutral-ish tones. I know y'all are going to be starting a bridal shop fairly soon. This is the purple from the bridal shop, and then these two are for the youth mentoring. So just to give you an idea what all those are. But let's say I'm doing a post for Redeem Threads and I want to make sure I'm using the right color scheme. So I'm just going to click on this teal and it'll give me that background. Let's say I want to add some text. So here's a lot of my controls are over here on this side. One thing that is really helpful is that Canva has tons and tons of templates. So if you don't want to create something from scratch, you see something that you think, oh, I could modify that a bit, like change the colors a little bit, and it could look like us and feel like us, then go ahead and do that. Save yourself some time and effort. So let me see here if there's one that maybe this looks good. I really like, this cool design here, and I want to use that. So if I want to delete anything, it's just click on it and click your delete button. So I'm deleting all this stuff, but I really like, this image, and I want to make sure it's the right colors. So I click on that background again, and I'll make it this maroon. That's our Redeem Threads maroon. So now it's our color. Let's say I want to add some text. So I click on text. And our brand fonts. So these are our brand fonts, and they are also just automatically included here. And this should be the same across the entire organization. We all kind of use these same fonts. So I'll click on it and it'll just pop up with some text here that I can use. And I can click on subheading and that'll pop up. So now I've got a couple of pieces here. Let's see, if I want to change the alignment of this, I can click up here in alignment, and it changed. I have to just keep clicking on it and it'll just keep changing the alignment, but I want it left aligned. So have it there. Resizing things is really easy. All you have to do is drag and pull. And then to edit the text, I just click on it And I can sale today. Or whatever, you know, you can just whatever text you want. Let's see. So let's see what other text options we have up here to show you. So you can change the size of your text from up here. You can change your font from up here as well. The brand fonts are already uploaded here as well, but you can look through and see. There may be times when you want to use a different font. I do try to stick pretty religiously to our brand fonts just for consistency. Consistency just kind of helps our overall brand, helps people know, like when they see a certain thing, they think, when they see our, you know, brand consistently, they know like that's us. Like when you see the Nike swoosh, you know that's Nike. It's kind of just the same idea. Like we want to just be consistent with our colors and our fonts and things like that. I can change the font color from up here. I can make bullet points from up here. I can change the spacing of the letters from up here. If I had multiple lines, I could change, like, let's see. I can change how wide the spacing is from up here. And it also gives me some fun effects. You can play around with this a little bit. So just multiple things, and playing around with it. Like if you're not familiar with it, playing around with it is probably one of the best ways to learn as well. You can kind of just go in here and see what you've got to work with. I don't really pay much attention to the animate. I know that there is an option to kind of add graphics that move and whatnot. I haven't done a lot of experimenting with that, but feel free to do that. These little 3 dots over here have some more options. You can, well, let's see, on this one, you could make this all uppercase. You can underline it. Position. So let me see how I can show you what position means. I'm going to add something here to show you. So there are photos over here on this left-hand side dashboard. If you wanted like stock photos, you can search up here, and they have just thousands and thousands of stock photos. Right now, you know, this photo, when I move it, it goes underneath the text. Let's just say that I wanted it to go over the text. So that's what position means. So I would go to position and I could say forward. So I want it to be, you know, I don't know why I would want it to go over the text in this situation, but let's just say I want the text to come back. I click on the text, I go to these 3 dots, say position, and then go forward. So now it's on top. That's what position is. See my other text options. I can change the transparency of things, so either text or images. It's this checkerboard thing here. If I want it to be like a little lighter for some reason, I can do that. I can make it all the way invisible. Let's see what else would be good for you to know. I don't want to overwhelm you too much with stuff today, because some of it will just come around from you playing with it. If I want to duplicate something, I can click on this plus button and it'll duplicate it. 2 of them. I'm going to show you a few other things just on this side dashboard here, and then I'll show you like what it would look like to just create one from scratch rather than having gone in and edited an existing design, because I probably should have done that first. And I'm going to delete this since I made a copy of it. We don't need to. Okay, so what are some of the other things on this dashboard here? So templates, like I mentioned, you know, you can pick, there's so many that you can choose from. And the templates that pop up are based on what kind of design that you're editing. So this design, I think, is just like an Instagram sized design. So it's showing like Instagram sized templates over here. So you can scroll through. You can also search, like let's just say you wanted to do a fall one. You could click on fall and then it'll pull up all these cool fall related things. If I click on elements, elements is where you'd find things like lines and shapes, different like clip art, photos. Some of the stuff I don't pay any attention to, like videos or audio. I don't touch that stuff usually. Grids, if you're trying to do like a fun picture frame, you can, or like a collage. I like grids for doing collages. So I click on see all of grids, then they have all these different, types of collage style things. And I click on that, and then I could put pictures in here and make it look really cool. And then I'll go back to all of my different things over here. Uploads. So uploads is where, like, if you have your own pictures that you want to use, this is where you would upload it from. So you'd click upload, and then it would allow you to do that. And then we've just got tons and tons of pictures here. And again, they're from all different aspects of the ministry and all different epicenters. So it would be a lot to kind of scroll through them all, but you can search. And I did search yesterday, and if you click Arizona or AZ, some things do actually pop up. So I searched AZ, and then yeah, you have a few things here, but you can always add more by uploading. Let's see. Photos, yeah, we kind of went over that. These are sort of more of your stock photos. We have permission to use any of these. It's totally fine. Text, there's all these, like I said, our brand fonts are here. Styles, I don't pay any attention to. Background, there are different backgrounds that you can use. You can either search them up here, or you can just look through the different types here. There's lots and lots of stuff on Canva. See, if you scroll all the way down here, you have logos. So again, this is everybody's, but yours are in here as well. And there's different, all the different iterations should be in here. So you have your Compassion Connect AZ, kind of just normal one. There's a white one here. Let me see what else you have. I think you have oh, here's Redeemed Threads. And then there's a couple of other, like the more long and skinny Compassion Connect AZ. And then we have a Compassion Care Center one down here. So a variety of logos are here if you click on logos. I think that's kind of what I would want to show you for that dashboard there. Now I just want to go back and show you how to create something from scratch. So there's a couple of different ways that you can. So you can either go up here to create a design, you can click on that, and then it'll have a lot of these different, it won't give you every single option up here of the kind of templates they have, but they have a few up here. If you have like a custom size that you want to do, you can do that. It'll ask you for your, the size in pixels, which is more like digital media, or inches. So if you're trying to do a postcard and you're like, it needs to be exactly this big, then you can like program in like how big you want to do it. Or you can go to this list over here, and you can kind of scroll through and see all these different types of design templates that they have, and it'll just size it for you automatically. The main ones that I like, the ones I use most frequently would be like Instagram posts, and I actually use the Instagram post size for my Facebook posts as well. It's just a nice size, it shows up well. So I would just click on this, create blank, and it should just pop up with an untitled design. And then I can go in once it loads and rename it. And then now I see there's some cool templates over here. Let's say I really like this quote template, and I can just click on it, it pulls in there. I can go into my colors and change it to, let's say, Care Center blue, and then I can go and I can change the font to be our font or whatever. I can go in and put a verse in here, whatever I want to do. And then all the controls are the same like I showed you before. So let's say I'm happy with this design and I want to actually download it so I can put it on our social media accounts. I go over here to download. For social media, I usually download as a PNG. If I did want it to have a transparent background, like let's just say I wanted this to show up. That's not really super relevant for social media. Usually I would do a transparent background if it was like a logo or something that I didn't want to have a background. Undo button is up here. So undo, now I have that back. So usually just PNG, don't worry about the checkboxes down here. And then I would just click download and then you can choose, where it downloads to, your desktop or wherever you want it. I can also choose to share it. Like if I was working on something, I wanted Janelle to see it or something, I could just put her email in here and you can even add a message and you can send it, so that's kind of a helpful feature as well. See anything else? Nope, that would kind of be the basics here. Is that about as clear as mud to everybody? Again, I think once you get in and kind of start experimenting with it, it'll kind of make a bit more sense. Yeah, you can always go into some of your existing designs and you can make a copy and kind of play around with things and just see, some of the stuff that's been created in the past. Let me see if there is, okay, yeah, there's not currently like a Redeem Threads folder or a Care Center folder, but that might be something to create. I think all you have to do to add a new one. Oh yeah, you just go up here to create folder. And then to put things in a folder, you just drag and drop. You literally just pull it and put it somewhere. So you could end up creating folders that could put all your Redeem Threads things in there, or Care Center things in there. But I would encourage you maybe to just kind of look around in here, see what there is. This looks like the squash one you were talking about, Debbie.
Yeah, that's it.
So, you could, while you're learning, you could even just repurpose some of the things that have been done before. So that could be a good way, kind of just ease yourself into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry, the flow of that was a little disorganized. Any questions at this point? I know probably once you kind of just get into it, more and more questions will come up, and I'm totally fine with that if you need to reach out to me and ask for some clarification on anything. But are there any questions, even just right now? I do want to be conscious of your time. We went over an hour already, but happy to answer any questions.
How soon can I get into it?
Yeah, so I can make you like a special login right after we get off the call. I can send you the information and you could get in right away.
Okay, because I'd like to try and do the dot change, and then I'll send a copy of it to Janelle. Mm-hmm. And if she approves of it, then I can send it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else? Allie or Alicia? No? Okay, cool. Well, again, if there is anything that comes up, either with social media or Canva, just let me know. My last day is October 20th, so I still have lots of time left if things do come up. And then I will also send you the recording so that you can refer back to this later. But I do appreciate you all taking the time, and I hope that it all makes sense and whatnot. But again, I'm here if you need it. So
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hope you all have a great day.
Thanks a lot.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.